Hello, lovely people. I thought I'd come on and do my second video. So I wanted to I've got a cup of tea, so I thought I would just talk a bit more about my journey with the runes, how it's gone. So I just wanted to, chat a bit more about the runes. So, like I said in the introduction, the runes have come in over the years for me so many times, and I was never really sort of into divination so much. Not like in a way of doing readings for people. um I like to do readings on a spiritual level. So I got a deep fascination with like shadow work and like looking at how you can transform and change. And so I had my first set of cards was the medicine cards, um, and by David Carson's and Jamie Sams. And I liked them because I really connect with animals anyway. So I could use them to like call in the animals to work magically or to do healing and things like that. So I loved that, but I didn't so much like doing type of readings where it was for, are you going to change your job and stuff like that. That really wasn't really my sort of thing. It never really clicked for me. So I was never really great with like divination stuff. So thinking of the runes as divination tool, I just didn't really feel them. And I did get like I think most people did, get the Ralph Bloom set. And I know Ralph Bloom gets a bit of a slating, but he really did bring the runes sort of to the masses, and so he did a good job. It's a bit like in the Reiki stuff where people slate to Carter, who brought it into the West because she Christianized some of the story to make it more acceptable and stuff like that. So there's a bit of like that, trying to make something fit. Anyway, I've gone off track like I always do. So anyways, with the runes, so I did have that set from Ralph Bloom, and then I'd bought a couple of sets as well, like I think crystal sets, because I love crystals. They're like my foundation. And I just didn't like them. I don't know, I couldn't connect with them. I felt like they had something really magical, but I didn't know. And I didn't know that people were using them for bind runes. People did use them for magic and stuff like that. So I just didn't have the knowledge, and it didn't seem to be out there either. In all the places I looked, there wasn't really people talking. There was like the witches' runes, but obviously they were different. Anyway, so I remember sort of buying books and trying to learn them, or trying to sort of do stuff with them, and it didn't work. And I remember selling the books and getting rid of the runes or gifting them to someone, and that just went on over the years. So many times, I literally bought Diane Paxton's book about 4 times, I think. Luckily, it is on my shelf again now. But yeah, I didn't find the right books. The only book that I really connected with was Kenneth Meadows' book on the runes, because I had his other books. I had his Shamanic Spirit and stuff, and I really liked him. So that sort of, and funnily enough, that was the only book I didn't sell. So any other rune book I bought, I sold, but his, I just didn't. I always kept that one, and I still really connect to that book. And the times that they came back in, I'd go, oh no, not again. And, you know, but they would come in so strong. It was like, I couldn't ignore it, but I wanted to ignore it because I'd already done this so many times before. I always sort of felt a connection to Odin. Probably only Odin, if I'm really thinking about it. I don't think any Norse gods ever sort of came up for me other than Odin. It was like, because I've always had a connection to Merlin, Thoth or Tahuti, and they have like that similar thread of that sort of magician-y, sort of magical wise man energy. They're not the same, they don't feel the same, but there's a thread there that you'd like, that feels familiar. And I really connected to Merlin. Not really the Celtic and that sort of pathway, that I never felt connected to Greek or Roman. Egyptian was always my thing, and all the Egyptian gods I've had connections with over the years. Anubis and Sobek, and Thoth, Nephthys, Isis, Osiris, sort of Sekhmet, and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, Odin. So I did feel that connection with Odin, and then when they sort of resurfaced, I would have said it was around 2016, 17 and 18, but I think in 2018, might have been before, I went to Glastonbury, and I hadn't said to my husband that the runes were calling me, or Odin was calling me, and he's not into spiritual, but he doesn't mind going to Glastonbury. He doesn't follow anything, or so we went to Glastonbury for the day, and every shop we went in, whatever they were selling, there was a set of runes or something connected with the runes that was like in your face. And even my husband was going, oh, look at this, and I was like, why is he showing me runes? And then I found Katie Gerard's book, and the for the life of me, the name's gone. Odin's Gateway. Sorry, Katie. I think it's Odin's Gateway. And I had to buy it, and I brought that home, and I literally read it within a couple of hours. And suddenly it was like everything clicked into place. Like all those years of trying, I don't know what it was, but her book she helped me see that they were magical, that I could use them in ritual, I could use them in spells, I could use them for healing. I could make bind runes, and I do make bind runes, but I've managed to come up with a way that I can make sigils out of runes instead of actual bind runes, and that works better for me. I like bind runes, but I just prefer sigils. It just works for me. So yeah, and then I found a guy, Michael Keneally, and I did part of his rune course. I didn't actually finish it. I can't remember why. I think I did the first. I worked with the Elder Fuvark, and I think I did the first 8, but I didn't actually do the next 2. And then I did another little rune course online, which was okay. And then Michael Keneally had said to me there was a rune tellers summit, and I went on that and I found Maggie Rose Cunningham, and that was really the start of like a deeper connection. And then, like I say, I started her awakening course, which was her first one that she done. So it was the first cohort of that course. So I was on that, and oh God, I met some most amazing people that I'm still connected to, that we still work together. Just amazing. It wasn't just the course, and it wasn't just the runes, and it wasn't just Maggie's teaching. It was this connection to people that were doing the same thing. I can't explain it really. It was so transformative. If you're really interested in the runes, I really, really recommend that you go onto Megan Rowe's website and look up the Awakening course. And we've got a new one starting in June, I think. It's so, the course is so deep, and yet it doesn't put you off. It's gentle, but with so much information that you just really start to build this relationship and story of your own with the runes. So I think when you start it, you just start to learn. If you don't have any connection with the runes, if you're brand spanking new to the runes, and which really I had a little tiny bit of information, but not a lot. So and just there's layers and layers and layers of information in the Awakening course. And what happens at some point is you develop your own special, unique relationship with the runes. And that changes over time, because you might be using them for healing, you might be using them for divination. I mean, I went into it with thinking that I just want to learn how to use them magically. I want to get to know them so I can do all this stuff. But I didn't think that I would ever get to want to use them for divination, really. I mean, I knew that I would a little bit, but not that I'd even be really any good at it. I don't know why. Maybe because it wasn't really my thing. And yet, I love using them. I just, doing a reading with them is phenomenal. And I think because the runes aren't like cards in the aspect of, you do have Merkstave, but not all of the runes are Merkstave. So with a tarot card or something, if it's reversed, then you've got a reversed reading, and you've got an upright reading. And the runes don't quite work like that, because not all of them can be read reversed, because they're exactly the same, reversed or upright. And then, especially if you throw them, they land on their side, they land upside down where you can't see the rune. And I never really thought that you would read those aspects, that you would read, well, that when I threw it, it was laying face down, so I couldn't see it. So this might be unseen. And if it's on its side, or if it's pointing to the left, or if it's pointing to the right, or if it's upside down, like pointing down, and as you're doing it, you're getting all this just extra knowledge. So you might have the a key word of what that rune means, or you might have like a lovely generalized, that rune means that. But once you start reading in that way, it just flows, because you go, well, it was pointing to the left and I feel that was about my past and it's not actually in now. And as you're doing it, you're like, whoa, where and how did that happen? So yeah, it's just fascinating. It's opened up um, my practice. My practice has changed. I mean, I always have had like crystal grids and altars, and I might have an altar set up with like crystals on, and that'll be working. It might be working over a period of time. It might be a month. So it might be a healing altar. It might be for the world. It might just be for me. It might be for friends or family or something. And I just let that do its thing. And I always know when it's stopped. It's almost like it goes, I need changing now, and then I'll set up a new one. And then I had like an altar with like cards on that would give me the energies of the week or the day or something like that. And I do that now with the runes. I was doing a rune for the day, so I'd have a rune literally for the day. And then I decided that that was a bit heavy, because you know you weren't getting enough time. And I also work with the half month runes as well, and that's the like the wheel, the cycle where it goes round like the wheel of the year. And so you know the rune spans sort of 2 week period sort of thing, because there's 24 of them, and yeah, it goes around. So anyway, so I was following that and then doing like a rune for the day as well. It's like, no, there's too much, and the energies are crossing, and there's a bit of chaos there. It didn't feel sort of settled. I'm not saying it's wrong to do a rune for the day, because it's really seriously not. And sometimes I will still think, well, no, I need to pick a rune for the day. But what I do now is I pick a rune for the week, which is good in another aspect, because Maggie does a Middle Earth reading on a Monday. So she tells us what the planets are doing in a northern tradition way, with like runic astrology way. And then we give her our rune for the week, and she does a little mini reading. So it's really great for the energies of the week. You know what's going on, you know what planets are, you know, doing this and doing that. So, you know, like at the moment we got Mercury retrograde, which I find hilarious that I started my YouTube channel in Mercury retrograde. Perfectly fine. So Odin was on my side. He wanted me to do it. So who's going to argue with Odin? No. So yeah, so now I do the weekly rune, and that gives me a nice sort of time of like working with that rune for the week. But I also do cards. So I have an altar set up, and it's my weekly altar. It changes. I have crystals on it. Sometimes the crystals can change within the middle of the week, because the energies have done whatever they needed to do, and it needs changing or adding crystals or taking crystals away. So I'll talk about altars and stuff on another one as we're sort of on the runes. So I have that, and I follow the half month. And then a couple of months ago, I got into my head that I needed to do a half month rune that was my half month rune. Now, I'm not going to change the energies out there, because they are working, they're set, you know, it's what's going on in the universe. So the planets are doing what they're doing. So, but inside me, my universe. So I decided that I was going to do an inner half month rune, and that's my personal universe rune. And then I still use the outside universe rune, and they're combined plus with my weekly rune. I also do an OM, and then I have 4 cards. Now you might think, oh, that's a lot of energies, and then with the crystals, but every time you pick, you know, 4 cards, they're from 4 different sets, plus an OM. Then I have my half-month runes, inner and outer. And then I have the weekly rune. And those energies are so... I read the cards and I think, oh my goodness, they're just so connected. So it just gives me a really rounded energy to work with and to use for the week, and I just love it. So that I'm loving with the runes. So that's fairly new practice, because obviously I wasn't using runes in that way before. And then I do a protection ritual. I was taught protection when I started spiritual work, and I was told how important it was, and I protected myself. I put myself in a like a bubble of energy and stuff, and it was... I did it for, you know, a good length of time. And then in the spiritual field, there was a lot of stuff with like, you don't need protection. It just means you're fearful, you're scared of stuff. And over the years, I stopped protecting myself strongly, and I'm extremely sensitive. And I didn't know till later on in years, I ended up with fibromyalgia, and when I was looking into human design, I had a human design chart done. I think it was 2019. A lady read my chart, did my chart, and oh my goodness, I realised how much a sensitive, empathic person needs protection. I'd already started to do protection again. I went right back to basics a few years ago. I just thought, why am I not protecting myself? This is ridiculous. I already had fibromyalgia by then, and I realised that I was sensitive, that I pick up on other people's stuff, which I already knew because I was doing that as a child. I could walk in a room and go, whoa, I don't want to be in here. But because there's such a lot of stuff in the spiritual world of this, there's a lot of like judgment and people putting other people down, and like, oh, if you need protecting, then you obviously are very fearful. Well, I'm not fearful at all, but I do need protecting, because and our energy fields need protecting. It's like saying we don't need to wash, because eventually, well, eventually what? Eventually you'll really, really smell. So I just think spiritual hygiene, spiritual protection, cleansing, grounding, I just think it's the fundamentals of a spiritual practice, and I think it's ridiculous if you don't think that you're worth doing that, and it doesn't. I'm sorry, but I totally disagree with the people that say, oh, it's just because you're fearful, that you wouldn't need protection if you weren't so scared. Well, no, totally disagree. And I'm sure there'll be people that will say that I'm talking rubbish, but I don't care. But with the runes, so I have the most amazing ametrine sphere crystal ball, and it's stunning. And I learned the violet flame and years ago, and I use the violet flame for cleansing. I think it is just brilliant. I used to use it when I taught Reiki. I would take them through a meditation, doing the violet flame meditation. I just love it. I love the violet flame for like really like quickly clearing something, or I just think it's brilliant. And so I put myself in this sphere, and the reason I feel a lot of people use amethyst for the violet flame, and I think that's fine, but I like ametrine because it's got that fire in it, so it just makes sense to me. So I use ametrine for the violet flame. So I put myself in this sphere every single morning without fail. And then when I started with the runes, I fell in love with the algaes rune, and it's good for protection, and it's good for connection. So it's just such a lovely rune. I love it. So I received like a download of doing this really, really, really simple um, uh, protection with it. So I just call in algaes above me, algaes below me, algaes to the right of me, algaes to the left of me, algaes in front of me, algaes behind me, algaes cross of protection and connection. And I do that every single day on top of my ametrine sphere. So I just, my ametrine sphere of protection, and then I do my algaes cross. And oh my goodness, since I've been doing that, so much has changed. And I don't know about the protection part. I know it is protecting me, and my protection is stronger, and I'm not picking up on other people's stuff so much because I've got double protection. But it's not just that, it's shifted me on different levels and layers, and stuff, and it's just been amazing. And I received another little ritual the other day to do with the Manaz rune, which is the rune of your sovereign self and stuff, and it's just really simple little exercise that I'm going to start doing and see what I get from that, because I think it's going to be really amazing. But yeah, they just give you little things, and when you start connecting with the runes, you see them in things. And like we can be out in the woods, and I'll see a rune in the trees. I'm like, oh, or on the floor. You look on the floor and there's a rune. So it's just fascinating. And what I did to really connect with them was, obviously I did the course and I was reading all the information and I was listening to the stories and I was chanting them and all of that. And but I would make things. So in the half months, so if we were in the half month of Feu, I might make a little painting, or a clay piece or something. And that really connects me with the runes. My creativity is just is such a major part of my practice. And I think I was going through YouTube and I found Molly Roberts, and she is amazing. And she says about like being an art witch, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's really what I am. I'm an art witch because I use so much art to connect. I use art in, as a spell, as a ritual, as a blessing. Yeah, I like creating something. And sometimes it might just be a picture that doesn't have, so you might connect with a rune, but you might do a picture and the rune is not in there, but the energy of that rune has come through you and comes out in the artwork, and it does hold the energy, and you can feel it even if you can't like visibly see like the rune in it. It's just fascinating. And I made my sun rune, because I've had my full runic astrology done by Maggie, which she does on the website. Is fascinating and absolutely brilliant. It's just another level, and I'm on the runic astrology course at the moment. But yeah, I've had my chart done. And when you like connect with like your sun rune and your moon rune, my moon rune is so perfect. It makes so much sense to me. Well, all of the runes sort of really do. And but like making like a connection with your sun rune, and using it to energize you and things like that, it's just really amazing. So then you end up with even deeper levels of connection to them. They're they're like amazing allies that have your back, but want you to grow. They're so transformative, not always gentle. And to be honest, I like a couple of the runes that are more feared runes, I suppose. I love Hagalaz, the stormy rune. I just feel that it holds the potential of so much transformation and change, and it's just absolutely amazing. So my rune journey so far has been so amazing and so weird. The fact that over the years I kept picking them up, I kept putting them down, and then they came in, and I must really seriously thank Katie Gerard for that book, because Odin's Gateway, honestly, and I've got lots of rune books now, and Freya Aswin and all that. I mean, just amazing book. There are some amazing rune books. I love my Runes for Transformation, Kadrick Olson. I do love that book, because he like works with them quite differently, and I just, there are some amazing rune teachers out there. Maggie's my favourite, I'm afraid. That's it. She's just the rune mistress. I just love her. She has the most amazing way of teaching, and yeah, I just really recommend her work. But yeah, and the rune. But I mean, the thing with like a rune teacher is quite funny, because like a rune teacher like has all the signposts and guides you, but the runes are the teachers. There's no doubt, the runes are the teachers, and that's where you get your learning from, the actual runes. But a really, really, really good rune teacher holds those energies, and can really guide you the most amazing way. And I think once you take up the runes, I don't think it's something that you just sort of learn a bit and then you do. I think they really do become part of your life, and they are with you for the rest of your life. And it's it's a deep journey that doesn't ever end. And they're like these multifaceted sort of diamond beings that show you one facet, and you think you've got them, and you're like, oh, I understand Fayu, that's amazing, and then it just spins around to another facet, and you go, oh, I really don't understand Fayu at all. And then it just goes on. What I found fascinating as well is if you follow the half months. So when you hit Fayu, or this is the first one, so, and you're in July and whatever, and the energy's there, and you think you understand it, and it's great, and you might have a great time and really enjoy that half month, and then another rune, Thurazaz, you might not enjoy Thurazaz month. But when you come round to the next year and you go back into Fayu, you're sort of like a bit, oh, well, it's going to be great because it's Fayu and it's lovely and the energy's flowy and gorgeous and wonderful. And then suddenly it shows another side, a shadowy side, or a this side. And you're like, I don't believe it. And it's like a rune that you had a really uncomfortable 2 weeks with, you have flow through it, and it's amazing. They just, I don't know, most of the time I could just sit with my mouth open going, I'm gonna have a sip of my tea because my throat's getting a bit dry. I hope you don't mind. There we go. It's getting a bit cold as well. Yeah, so it is just the most amazing journey, and all I can say is, if you are interested in the runes, then start looking into it. And Maggie's website is amazing. She's got a lot of information on there on each of the runes and stuff. So it is a great place to sort of start. And I, I'm, I've said like Katie Gerard's book was the book that really got me there, but it might not be the book for you. So I think with books, you need to feel into it and see, because we're all coming in from a different place with all our own different stuff, and we're drawn to different people. And I think people get really disappointed sometimes, because you might be really excited and you might say, oh my goodness, you've got to read this book, it's amazing. And then your friend reads it and they go, blah. Because we can't all be at the same place, and we're so unique with all our conditioning from our childhood and everything, and our lifestyles and all of the stuff that we have in our lives makes us so unique. So, you know, I can recommend a lot of books on the runes, but I feel that people need to really go and research and and maybe don't use your head so much. Maybe try and feel it. I mean, this is the thing with the runes, is like feeling them in the body. That they're oh, that takes it to another level. So yeah, but I would definitely recommend Maggie's site to have a look, because you can go on and she's got all the runes. She's got some amazing meditations on YouTube, which you can access from the website, and they're lovely journeys to go into each individual rune. And she's got like correspondences and things like that, and so that's really good. And then if you feel like you want to take it further, the awakening course is just phenomenal. You know, and I mean, I'm still dipping and diving into it, and I'm sort of really getting to know the runes, but I know that I can go back and look at my awakening course and go into each rune and really look at it again, and listen to the stories and listen to the Gauldra, because singing and chanting the rune is just amazing, gives another layer. So that's fascinating as well. So yeah, just a little bit on the runes. 37 minutes, 38 minutes nearly. So I hope you find it interesting. Like I said, I'm not really going to do the like and subscribe stuff, but you know, if you do like it and you do get stuff from it, it's great. I'm gonna just be me on these videos, and I want to be authentic, in that I don't want to polish them. I don't want them. I don't need that. I don't need filters and this and that. Not that you'd use one on here, but oh, I don't know. Maybe you can. Yeah, this is me. This is my stories, my truth, my understanding. It probably is different for other people, and that is absolutely fine. We are all unique. I am just saying my stuff. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to upset anyone. I'm not trying to provoke anyone. I'm just giving you what I've learned over the years, and just being me. So love you lots, and love and blessings, and yeah, see you again in another one. Bye.